Here we are, day one, just starting out. Section J of the Pacific Crest Trail. He's loaded up. One of us is carrying a mallet. No one knows who. I guess we'll find out at our first stop tonight. Going from the Snoqualmie Pass to Gravel Lake. So far, so good. All right, a few weeks ago, me and a few buddies went out and hiked in Washington State. We actually intended to hit 5 days on the PCT, the Pacific Crest Trail, from Snoqualmie up to Stevens Pass. The plan was altered. Beginning day two, actually we just started hiking, change of plans. And you know, the important thing to realize is you need to be flexible in all your plans and account for everybody's capabilities. Turns out my plan was maybe a little too aggressive for every member of our group, so we come up with a very nice, I can't really say plan B since this was plan B, but we're doing an alternate version of our plan. And so in this video, we're going to kind of tell that story with some B-roll of us hiking and some behind the scenes of that hike. But really what I wanted to get after is I did a video a few weeks ago about my backpacking setup, and this is sort of part of the story, this Mystery Ranch Mission Wheelie 110 liter. But today I wanted to go through 5 lessons learned from my backpacking setup that maybe might help you. 4 MVPs, things that I just really loved out of the entire set. 3 things I would skip next time. 2 cameras that I use to film the B-roll or the footage that I did on the trip that are very awesome portable cameras for while you're on the road. And then 1 thing I forgot that I wish I had brought with me. So let's dive into it. Let's start with 5 lessons learned. Now the first one, was how to get your stuff A to B. And the Mission Wheelie was definitely the MVP in the terms of getting my stuff there. So lessons learned, you need a bigger bag to carry your stuff. 110 liters is big enough for all your backpacking gear for a 5-day trip. Plus, there's plenty of extra room in there. In fact, I packed for a 2-day trail run with some friends that was also on the same trip. So I had room for all of those things. So if you're really going for 5 days, you can take all the stuff you think you're gonna bring and some other stuff. Now the winning combo, and this is really the lesson, is the 110 liters and a 55 liter Bridger pack was the winning combo for me. After doing 5 days, well, it being 2 real days of backpacking this thing, just did a great job carrying stuff up to altitude. It's not the lightest, it's heavy, right? But for me, the Bridgers win in the harness comfort and the ability to keep stuff on the front of the pack so that you can use them on the go. And the rest of the organization is really awesome too. Did a video on the Bridgers, which I'll put a link to over there. So that's it. Those are lesson 1. Was the bag setup was definitely a standout, and it worked really, really well. One last thing about this, anytime you're checking your bags, get yourself an AirTag and put it inside, and you can track it when it's away from you, in case it gets lost. But we're doing an alternate version of our plan. And this time we hiked up 1 day, we're gonna hike back, but don't fret. Originally planned as 5 days. We're going to reset with our now dry gear because it stormed on us last night. And then we're going to hike another section. So stay tuned. More scenes from the Pacific Crest Trail, Section J. The second lesson, and a lot of people commented on this in terms of saving weight, and I packed a lot of my stuff in traditional packing cubes, some Evergoods packing cubes, these Patagonia packing cubes, and really everything adds up, right? So the weight savings, sort of ditching those and going to more like a Sea to Summit or a dry bag from anywhere else, you get something just a little bit lighter. It's going to save me weight over the whole thing. And I didn't necessarily feel the weight, but I think next time I'm going to ditch the packing cubes and go for traditional sort of dry bags. So that's lesson number 2. Lesson number 3, water filtration. Now I had the plan of using this BeFree the whole time, and I did use it a couple times, but the lesson for me was I actually used more water from a buddy's larger platypus system, gravity feed. Put a link in the description of what he used. But the reason that was more effective is he could just fill up this larger vessel, hang it from a tree limb or something, and then we all just kind of filled off of it, and then it was easier for one person to go fill it. This is for 4 people. So maybe consider distributing some gear in terms of water filtration. Now, I would probably still bring this, keep it in my bag for backup purposes, but I ended up using the larger platypus from somebody else. Still going up.
Yep. It's just beautiful.
Another lesson is camp chair. Now this, luxury item, however you want to look at it, this is the Helinox Zero, Chair Zero, which I really love. And now I'm just realizing another thing I did forget. I don't have the base, the footprint for this, which I'm now going to order. But this chair was a game saver. I had it on the outside of my pack. I would put it out anytime we stopped, and I would sit, elevate my feet, just, get off your feet, not sit on the ground. Super awesome. Easy to assemble and disassemble multiple times throughout the day. The other game changer, and the reason this is a lesson learned, not an MVP, although it is an MVP, but the lesson learned was that when it's rained all night and the ground is super wet, you don't want to put your pack down because you're going to be lugging that thing around. You don't want to get wet. I just put my pack in the camp chair, kept it off the ground, super nice and easy, and then I could just lift the pack up, put it on my back, and then disassemble the chair and move on our way. Just a way to keep your pack dry and off the ground. So can't say enough about this. In fact, I was the only one out of the 4 of us that had one, and everyone was like, I'm gonna order that. What one did you get? This is great. That chair was a total game changer. The last lesson is insect management, mosquito control, you name it. There was some pretty bad reports out on the trail saying you really needed to have some way to keep the mosquitoes off of you. So I did a lot of research. Of course, I picked up some bug spray. This is Ben's, which was honestly the MVP of the bug situation. I got this little head net, which I didn't end up using at all because they weren't terrible. But then the really disappointing thing is Thermacell. And this thing is made for backpacking, screws onto whatever fuel canister you have, and then it lights, and then it heats up one of these Thermacell pads inside, and it's supposed to give you a 15-foot bubble that's bug-free. I tried it, it didn't ever light, and I followed the directions. It didn't work. So nothing's more disappointing than you lugging something onto the trail up to where you're going to be and it's not working. So what really ended up being the lifesaver, not the Thermacell, never used the bug net, but great bug spray, not a big surprise. But I can swear by Ben's, this 7 hours protection kept not only the mosquitoes, but there's just flies everywhere, and they just kept everything away from me. Whatever it is, it worked. So that's my lesson, is just get some awesome bug screen, maybe a couple of different ones. And this little tiny bottle lasted the whole time, so don't bring too much. I'll put the camera away, it's kind of steep. 4 things that were MVPs throughout that entire scenario for me. Not that, but first of all, the sleeping bag I used was from Outdoor Vitals, and it was fantastic. Just the right temperature. I'll put a link in the description of that. It was super lightweight, kept me comfortable. It is mummy style around your head. It's just really good. I loved and cannot say enough about the Outdoor Vitals sleeping bag that I used. The other one already told you about. Number 2 was the camp chair. Definitely get yourself one of those. It's worth it in my opinion. The third thing was these Z-poles from Black Diamond. Super lightweight, assemble very quickly. The problem is you just got to be set on whatever size you go with and just live with it. And for me, 110 centimeters. No, 115. These are 115s. Either way, I figured it out and they're awesome. I used my adjustable ones for a while and then figured out what size would be perfect. Then I ordered the Z poles for the ones I wanted. Super lightweight, stick in a pocket. I used to use these for trail running and for backpacking, and they were fantastic. The last MVP, if you will, of this was my Jolbo sunglasses. I originally got these last year for glacier glasses, and the cool thing about these is they adjust. They have reactive lenses, so they react from a low setting to a high setting based on the lighting. So I was able to just wear these all day in and out of the shadows and have enough visibility to, not stumble over rocks. So Jolbo's reactive technology, highly recommend. Not sponsored. They didn't send these to me, but they're awesome. Highly recommend those. If you're looking for glacier glasses, I just ordered some from mountain biking that I'm really looking forward to. Those are the MVPs. Let's talk about 3 things I would skip that I brought with me that I wish I would have left back at home. First of all, I brought this hammock, and it is super lightweight and it is nice. The Sub 6, it is a very lightweight setup, but I didn't end up using it because the trees just weren't really conducive to that. Now maybe if I was in another spot it would be, but this is going in another sort of a day hike mode because it's super lightweight, but it's not going to be in my backpacking setup next time, so definitely skip the hammock. Thermacell, already told you that. In the Thermacell situation, I brought not only one cell to cook with, but I had another canister for just this, so that would have eliminated a whole nother canister, although I like having 2 versus one bigger one. You do you. And then I've already talked about packing cubes. Skip the heavy packing cubes, go with the lightweight dry bags to keep everything wet. Those are the 3 skips. The 2 cameras. Now the 2 cameras that I used on this trip, I didn't bring a full frame camera. Everything that you're seeing on this footage of me backpacking mostly was done with the Ace Pro, which I've done a video on the Ace Pro. I'll put a link over there. This one's not sponsored. I'm planning on putting some more content out about this camera just because I just love it for everything that it is. And this is from PGY Tech. Little tripod was everything I needed to set the camera up or use it. And another thing, just since we're talking about it, this little L bracket that you can get for this thing allowed me to shoot content this way or flip it up and do it the other way, because yes, I know you can flip it in the camera, but you're going to get the best resolution for the sensor by manipulating the camera. And honestly, this was actually an easier way for me to fit it inside the pocket on the Bridger. Either way, super cool. The other one that I use, and I used a lot, is the Insta360 X4. This is what I used for some of the footage as we crossed over the Kendall Catwalk. Just some of those elevated viewpoints, which is just really cool. And then you can re-edit it later. It does add a step to your workflow, but it is super cool. More content coming on this camera as well. Super useful. All right, those are the 2 cameras. The one thing that I forgot, the biggest thing that I really wish I had brought, especially when I saw the forecast, was this bigger dry bag. This is a Sea Summit. This is a pack liner. So you can get the plastic ones, they're disposable, but this is one you can put in there, keep everything dry. It's a little bit of peace of mind. It doesn't really add that much weight to your bag, but you can put it inside there and just not worry about it. In closing, in terms of gear stuff that I loved, one thing that I would highly recommend, that I just realized that I didn't talk about it yet, is the Garmin InReach. Now I know that Apple is going to come out with some stuff for the iPhone, so you wouldn't necessarily need a Garmin InReach, but the InReach was indispensable, not really for me because we didn't have any instances where I need to get emergency rescue. However, for family members back home when we were outside cell range to get updated positions of where we were, and also that we had made it to a camp, we were next to one, was, I think, one of the best things I had on this trip, aside from all the comfort items. Just having that Garmin InReach was peace of mind for me and my family. Highly recommend that one as well. And get a subscription. I just used unlimited text just because I didn't know how much I was going to text with family and friends. Didn't end up using it a ton. Probably could have stayed within the 15 that I originally had, but nonetheless, I think it was worth it. Small price to pay for that trip. There you go. That's what we did. Hope you liked this video. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Putting out more content, backpacking, outdoor gear, some of the content creation stuff that I use all the time. So you might want to, you know, see it in the next one. So subscribe. That's that. We're going to get outside in some capacity today, but I gotta clean up all this stuff. This backpacking gear is gonna be sitting on the shelf for a little bit until maybe next summer. Hope to go out again this fall, but see ya! This is awesome. Just walking through here. All right, good morning from Gravel Lake on the PCT Pacific Crest Trail Section J. Big Agnes tent, Mr. Ranch Bridger, beautiful lake. Getting ready to go. See what the other half of the camp is doing. Oh, you got a totally different setup.
Yeah.
I mean,
And when I have my rain fly, they come out to the side. So I've got
yeah.
You know, out.
Oh, two vestibules.
Yeah.
Oh,
two
you come in.
vestibules.
You go in and out the side.
Yeah.
That's really bizarre.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, yours is different.
I mean,
Yeah. So when the rain fly's on, it zips up. But the vestibules come out to each side. So you got vestibules on each side.
it's crazy. I mean, yeah, and I have a little gear storage thing up, but it's not nearly that big. But I also don't like your pole setup is a little more complicated.
It actually snaps right into place really easily. And the whites.
Well, but I mean,
silvers-
mine is just one. It's like a T,
Oh.
and the sides go down, and we'll have to compare which models we have. But you're right. You have a lot more headroom.
Yeah, like I could sit up. It was really nice to do.
And you can get in and out both sides.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I mean, I guess because it's a two.
yeah.
You know, you want to, one person get at one side, but nice is if if it wasn't bad weather, you could open up both sides, let air
Yeah.
just flow right through.
That's cool. Who knew? New designs of tents. Let's come down here again. Now look at it. I mean, we were just here. It's clear. Hey, what do you think, Heath?
Hard to say.
Where'd the lake go?
Here 1 minute, gone the next. Either way, we're gonna get moving. Modifying our plan slightly, but it's still gonna be epic. Beginning day 2. Actually, we just started hiking. Change of plans. And, the important thing to realize is you need to be flexible in all your plans and account for everybody's capabilities. Turns out my plan was maybe a little too aggressive for every member of our group, so we come up with a very nice I can't really say plan B since this was plan B, but we're doing an alternate version of our plan. And this time we hiked up one day, we're gonna hike back, but don't fret. Originally planned as 5 days. We're going to reset with our now dry gear because it stormed on us last night, and then we're going to hike another section. So stay tuned. More scenes from the Pacific Crest Trail, Section J. We're going back to Snoqualmie Pass. We stayed the night at Gravel Lake. It was awesome. Anyway, not a rocky section, so I'm going to stow the camera and not twist an ankle or crack my head open. I'll try to, with the audio, edit out your bell. I'm just kidding.
I mean, no, seriously, I can bag it.
No, it's good. No, please.
The nice thing about having me in front of you is I'll watch for the blueberries and tell you when you can have them.
I like it.
Oh, this is pretty.
So pretty that I gotta make sure that it's actually on. Yep, it's on.
Well, I'm taking this in the morning and being able to enjoy it is a pretty good thing too. I was not enjoying it last night.
No. I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting this to be a little more scary. It's a little wider than I expected it to be. Bye. It's crazy. You just stay here all day. Have a good one. This is the Kendall Catwalk. Super cool. And slightly dangerous.
You can put the bell into the bag.
Hi. Coming down, eh? End of day 2. Here we are back at the parking lot, Snoqualmie, very beginning of section J. Just Rob and I so far.
Wow, you don't have to say yes.
What time is it?
I'm looking right now.
Got a beer bet.
15:11 in 20 seconds.
11. We'll go even.
There's his truck.